The Fat, Fat Elephant. Once upon a time, there was a jungle filled with many, many animals. One sunny afternoon, a big hippopotamus and a large brown bear were resting after eating a big snack. Just then, a not-so-big elephant walked up to them. The bear noticed something was different about the elephant. "What do you have with you?" the bear asked. The elephant turned to the bear. "Oh, nothing. It's just a bucket. I keep it filled with water from the river. That way, wherever I go, I'll always have a supply of nice, refreshing water to drink." Said the hippopotamus. "That's smart." Actually, both the hippopotamus and the bear thought it was odd. The river was not far from anywhere in the jungle. Yes, this elephant was strange indeed. As he walked away from the hippopotamus and the bear, he spotted a paintbrush. "This will help me scrub myself when I take my bath in the river," he thought. He picked it up and off he went, carrying a bucket filled with water and a paintbrush. As he made his way to the river to take a bath and to try out his new paintbrush, he saw a large colorful blanket draped over a tree limb. "This will be great to keep me warm when the jungle gets cold," he thought to himself. Although he knew the jungle wasn't cold, he wanted to be prepared just in case. He swung the blanket onto his back and off he went, carrying a bucket filled with water, a paintbrush, and a colorful blanket. Then he spotted a small wooden chair. "I can let my friends sit on this chair whenever they come to visit me," he thought. So he put the chair on top of the blanket and off he went, carrying a bucket filled with water, a paintbrush, 4 fluffy pillows, a colorful blanket, and a small wooden chair. Finally, the elephant reached the river, where a tall giraffe was swimming near the shore. "Why are you carrying all that stuff?" asked the giraffe. The elephant explained all about the bucket filled with water, the paintbrush, the 4 fluffy pillows, the colorful blanket, and the small wooden chair he was carrying. The giraffe could only laugh. "You're an elephant. You don't need those things. Besides, they make you look like a big fat circus elephant. You can hardly run or play with all that stuff." "You can laugh all you want," the elephant said proudly. "But we'll see who's laughing when you get thirsty or when night falls and it's time for you to go to bed." And so it went for the fat elephant. The animals would all laugh at him as he walked through the jungle. Soon he did his best to stay away from them altogether. One day, when he wasn't paying attention, he wandered too close to a campsite. A small boy asked if he could borrow the bucket, but the elephant said no and turned his eyes away. Then a little girl asked if she could borrow his blanket. He looked at her and she looked cold, but he said no again and walked on. Then an old man who looked tired from walking asked if he could sit on the chair and rest, but he said no, 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 no. The elephant grew annoyed at everyone wanting to borrow his things, so he decided to paint a sign with his brush on the side of his body that said, "Go away." From then on, the elephants and the people pretty much left him alone. At first he was lonely, but he got used to not having people and friends to borrow his things. As the days went on, he found more and more things and wrapped them all up under his blanket. Now he looked really fat, and he couldn't run at all anymore. In fact, he could hardly walk. One day, the Wacky World Circus sent elephant catchers to the jungle. The circus needed some new animals for their show, and wouldn't you know it, within a few minutes they spotted the fat elephant. One of the catchers said, "This one would be great for the circus. Look, he already has a colorful blanket wrapped around him, but look at all those things he could carry." The elephant saw the catchers and tried to run, but he was very, very slow. He would not let go of all of his stuff, so they caught him and threw him into a cage. "Let me out," he shouted. "I'm not really fat. It's just all the stuff that I'm carrying." The elephant was sad and thought, "I could have escaped them if I wasn't so heavy with my stuff. What should I do now? I don't want to be in a cage." Just then the little boy and girl from before walked by and saw him. The little boy laughed loudly and the little girl shouted, "Boo!" Suddenly the elephant jumped and all his possessions fell to the ground. Then he cried. The children looked at each other and said, "You were such a sad and silly elephant. You could have escaped all along. See, without all those things you are not so big. In fact, you could have probably slipped through these two bent cage bars. Go ahead, try it." The elephant wasn't so sure, but he tried it anyway. The children shouted, "Go! Go! Go!" Without the bucket filled with water, the paintbrush, the 4 pillows, the colorful blanket, the wooden chair, and all the other stuff he collected, he was really not very big, and he escaped easily. He was even able to run fast. He waved his tail, thanking the little children, but he didn't dare look back. He ran back into the jungle to his friends. Once again, he felt safe, and most of all, free. Having things is not bad, but being selfish with them is not good. God blesses us with many things, but He also expects us to share them with others who are needy. Things can't talk, play, or give you a hug. When we do not share, people will not want to be around us. Without the love of others, we may feel like being in a cage where nobody can reach us.